do you think pollution is changing our world?
Yes, ma'am. Nowadays, pollution is a lot of pollution is there. So many animals are died, and pupils are in the pollution areas. We have suffered some problems, health problems, and we suffer when some health problems. That also we can suffer some cold and some diseases they can suffer, and hair fall also then, I mean, the pollution that time, and lot of problems is there in pollution, ma'am.
Okay, so is it, so do you think it's only for humans, or is it not only for humans, but also other animals that are being affected by it?
Animals also in yes, ma'am. This time trees are cutting. That type of animals not living in the forest. We are coming the cities places. We also suffered in the animals also suffer the pollution, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Okay, good. Do you think their habitat is being destroyed because of pollution?
What, ma'am?
Have you heard of this word before? Habitat?
Habitat. Habit, ma'am.
Not the habit. Habitat is a place
Place, place, ma'am.
where animals live. For example, we say that the habitat of birds, for example, sparrows. We see sparrows travel from one country to another. They go from cold climate to even tropical climate.
Yes, ma'am.
So habitat is the place where the animals live.
Okay.
Okay. Do you think pollution is also affecting their habitat?
Yes, ma'am.
How so?
Sometimes the pollution is heavy. The animals are going to other places, and boats are also going to other places. In the for example, in my area, in the polluted area, pollution area in my area, some boats are suffered the area. So many boats are died, and some patients are, some people are also suffered in pollution, and is doing the taking the treatment also. In oxygen levels is low levels in the pollution areas. That time also we can suffer, and both of the asthma disease in the asthma disease is there, and some diseases diseases is there, ma'am. And animals,
Yeah, go on.
coal mines also there, diseases is there, and animals suffer a lot of suffer problems is there.
Do you think because of that their behavior changes?
Animals behavior, ma'am.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, ma'am. Behavior also change, ma'am, because what thing I can how can you explain?
For example, think about the urban cities. Lots of cities nowadays have very little green or very little trees, right? Very few trees. So a lot of us are cutting down trees. And the birds that used to live in the trees, nowadays they live in buildings, right? Like,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I can understand, ma'am.
so
Yes.
what do you think about the behavior of pigeons? Do you think they have changed? Or do you think they are more, they used to be afraid of humans, right? But nowadays they know that humans, they live along with us. We live in the same buildings. Like,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Nowadays, people are so changes, ma'am. No one is any house, no one trees is not there, ma'am. Buildings, every we can see the places, every places in buildings. In river places also, we can build the buildings, some buildings, and some forest areas also cutting the forest. Animals not leaving the places. That one. in the some politicians and people also, ma'am. And we can do a lot of mistakes. We can not chance to leave the animals, ma'am.
Mm.
Means um, animals are not living the zoo and forest areas. We will be coming in the outside, and people are suffered. Animals also came into the our places, and but how do he live? He's not leaving the places. He's drinking the water. Is no water. How did he leave the places? Then also
Yeah.
we can lot of problems are suffered the animals, man.
Yeah. We can say that it is difficult for them to survive. Because you use the word live, you can also use the word survive.
So right, okay,
It's
man.
difficult for them to survive without water.
Water.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Jyoti. Hold on. We have Kid with us. Let's say hi to Kid too. Give me a minute. Hi, Kid. Hi, Kid or KID. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm well.
All right. So what's your name? All right. Okay. Thank you. All right. Jyoti.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Jyoti, would you like to answer the second question? What do you understand by the term human-wildlife conflict?
What do you understand by the term human-wildlife conflict? Human-wildlife. Which mean, ma'am? Human-wildlife.
What is the meaning of the word conflict?
I don't know idea, ma'am. This one.
All right. You said that
Human.
because of lack of water in forests or
Yes,
the
ma'am.
mountains or lakes, because of that, the animals are coming to places where humans live.
Yes, ma'am.
So do you think because of that, animals and humans, do they fight against each other?
Yes, ma'am. Between human and wild animals unde- with undivisible areas, and will understand the consequence of the both people and both people are their resources and wildlife and the habitat habitat caused by the competition for the natural resources, and between human and wildlife food security and well-being the both human and animals. In many regions there are the conflict of the recent because of the result of human populations growth and land use. We can use the land, millions of visitors. We can use every day in a home to population is a sourcing populations and mountains, etc. And between the, maybe.
So yeah, so we say because of loss of habitat. One reason for this, one cause for human-wildlife conflict is that animals lose their place to live, right? Their dwellings or their homes where they live because of deforestation.
Yes, ma'am.
Or because of other reasons like agricultural expansion or maybe climate change or
Yes.
for industrial usage. Because of that, they lose their homes. So that is what we call as loss of habitat. So that can be one cause for human wildlife conflict.
Okay.
And what do you think because of that? Do you think animals will start moving into places where humans live?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Because we are not chance to leave the forest in animals, ma'am.
Yeah, you're right. And
We are all are we are for the trees, and how did you leave the forest, ma'am? No water, no food, and we are the every place we can build a building, and some factories also build the forest areas. That time when pollution also there, how did you leave the animals that place?
Okay. All right. Um, so what do you think, Jyoti? How can we handle this problem, this human wildlife conflict?
We leave the animals, the forest, ma'am. We not touch the forest areas.
Mm.
We not, sometimes some people are hunting the animals.
Yeah.
Some people hunting the animals, vesting also using, and some people are money minded. You can do the stage plants, that plants you can cut it, and
Mm.
no chance to leave the animals. But if a human is going to forest, he is afraid that human will kill him. That
Mm.
type, and the river also we can. That river water also we can use that mineral water, and some water we get translated the city areas.
Mm.
That type, when the animals are not drinking the water, and a lot of problem is facing, that time we can leave the peaceful life to animals, ma'am. We are
Yeah.
not enter the forest areas.
Right. Okay. Here we can
And
say,
even we are enter the forest areas, we can come into the our areas, ma'am, in the city areas.
mm,
We can do in the some issues also, and some problems we can arise it. And some people are afraid, and both the animals and humans are fighting them.
okay. Sure. All right. So here we see some causes of the human wildlife conflict are, we say, loss of habitat, like you said, when this resources are low or when we run out of them, it may be because of climate change. And there is a great point where you said that animals are being hunted, right, by humans.
Yes, ma'am.
So we say trafficking.
Property. Okay.
Trafficking is illegally hunting animals. For example, in our country, elephants are hunted for their tusks.
Okay.
So you will find that many people kill elephants for their teeth, ivory. So they have tusks, right? Long tusks, which is made
Yes,
of
ma'am.
ivory. And so that is trafficking. Or you can see sometimes there are lots of other smaller animals used for their leather, for their skin.
Yes, ma'am.
They're also used for making medicines, but they are all
Medicine.
illegal.
Yeah.
Okay, so animal trafficking is also one of the biggest cause for human wildlife conflict. Okay,
Yes,
so
ma'am. This also our grazing of livestock and the deforestation areas, and there is national park. We can use that one, and
yeah,
local communication displays wildlife.
yeah, we say agricultural expansion, deforestation. Deforestation would come here. Okay, good.
Illegal agriculture extensions and illegal gas explorations is there.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
that's true. All right. Okay. So thanks, Shruti, for talking about
Thank you.
this. So there is this book called Zoo. Have you heard this book written by James Patterson and Michael Ledwidge?
I don't see, ma'am. Just now I can buy the book, ma'am.
All right. Okay. So try reading this book after class today.
Okay, ma'am.
So we are going to talk a little about this book now. So this book is like a dystopian novel. Have you heard this word before? What is dystopian?
Dystopian.
Any idea what this means?
No, ma'am.
A dystopian is something that may not be realistic now, but it is an imaginary world in the future, how humans might live.
Imaginary world.
Yeah,
Okay.
we say all books are imagination, right? All fiction books are imagination. But in a dystopian world, usually it means that human civilization is completely different from what it is now. So in future, they are imagining a world where animals' behavior completely changes. It can even be small animals from dogs or cats to bigger animals like lions.
Okay.
So all animals, even though you can sort of tame them or control them, they suddenly become too aggressive. In this book, they are saying that the animal's behavior completely changes and they start attacking people.
Okay.
So it is called human animal conflict in the book. So in the book, it is called as human animal conflict or HAC. Whereas in reality, we call this as human wildlife conflict, but this is more suitable for our world. Human wildlife conflict is like because of the reasons that we discussed.
Okay.
So this is just an imagination that the author has about how the future might be.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So these are some words that appear in the book. We'll discuss the meaning of these words now.
Okay.
All right. Take a look at all the seven, I think we have 7 words. And can you guess the meanings for these? Do you know any of them? Have you seen any of them before? I think you might be familiar with the 4th one.
Evidence, ma'am.
Yeah. What is it?
Evidence.
How will you describe it?
In animal, ma'am.
No, what is the meaning?
If any issues arising, that time you can take in the evidence, man. It is the facts information of indicating whether the belief or preposition is true or valid, man. Evidence.
Yeah. It's a proof of something that happened or didn't happen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That happened or did not happen. Very good. Would you like to try another word?
Okay, ma'am.
I think you might know the last 3 also.
Okay, camp, ma'am.
What is it?
Temporary accommodations, huts, and tents, other such as the soldiers and refugees are traveling people. We can go into other places. We can camp in the places. And tents, we can arrange the tents. If not in hotels are available that time of, we can arrange the tents.
Sure. All right. Very good. Would you like to try one more?
One more. Okay, ma'am.
Not only one more, all of them, but we'll go one after the other.
Okay. Violence. Okay, I said violent, ma'am. Violent means in the strong, very strong, powerful violence. Confirmation is the not police. Violent confirmation is not in with a police.
Do you think it is like physically hurting someone?
Damages and kill another person.
Yeah.
Someone or something violent and confirmation with a policeman. It's not in police.
Sure. We say physically hurting or destroying something or someone.
Yes, ma'am.
Either physically hurting others or we say destroying properties. Okay. All right. Good. What about the next one?
Next one. One, ma'am. One is the truck model, the communication utilities and industrial survey duty market. One, he gave us our trust.
Okay, to tell someone that something is bad or dangerous.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, to tell someone in advance. So we say this before something else happens. So we say in advance that something is bad or dangerous. For example, we say the government issues a warning nowadays: don't go anywhere without a mask.
561 ma'am. Screen.
Okay.
Is a slasher film?
Is it a feeling or is it an action?
Hello.
Yeah, Jyoti, can you hear me? Jyoti, can you hear me? Jyoti? Can you hear me, Jyoti?
Can you, my voice not connected the PC to me? I don't know.
I can hear you, Jyoti.
My voice.
Jyoti? I can hear you, Jyoti. Jyoti, I'll try sending you a message.
Are you audible now?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Jyoti, try to use your headphones if you can, or try removing your headphones. Sometimes that works. Try removing your headphones, or you could try logging off and logging in. Either of them would work, Jyoti. Try to log off and log in, or try removing your headphones. Jyoti?
Yes, ma'am. Now we can hear me.
Your voice sounds a little faint. Could you keep your mic closer? Are you wearing your headphones?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Very good. So what is scream?
Screaming in a horror medium, ma'am.
Yeah. It means to shout, right?
Yes, ma'am. In television serials and we can see the horror movies.
Yeah. We say to shout
Video,
pitched voice.
video games, we can play the video games in stores.
Yeah. When we are in danger, we usually scream to say, that something is hurting us or attacking us.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay. So that is to shout in a high pitched voice. All right. What about conflict? What is that?
Conflict means now only you can say.
Conflict is
Struggle and opposition. Struggle and opposition is the best
opposite of
friend.
what?
Opposition, ma'am. Struggle or an opposition. Conflict.
Okay. Oppose something, to oppose something.
Oppose something and
Okay. We say it's like a disagreement.
striking, ma'am. Conflict means striking. Striking.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. It is like fighting an opposition
Yes,
to something. So yes.
opposite ideas.
Yeah. It's usually a strong disagreement or an opposition.
Oh, okay.
All right. Okay. Very good. What about the third one? What is that?
Pheromone.
So pheromones are hormones that are generated by all animals, like mostly all animals.
Humans remains uncertain. Adults uncertain, ma'am.
Yeah. So pheromones is usually used for mating. So,
Okay.
so that is a hormone that is created by animals. So that is generated in animals. So in the story, I'm going to give you a gist of the story zoo. Okay, Jyoti?
Okay, ma'am.
All right. So in this book, what happens is that you will have a scientist, a character called, okay, his name is James Oz.
James Bond.
James, I think, okay, let me quickly tell you the name of the character. He's, in short, his name is known as Oz. So he's a scientist who studies and who studied environmental biology. Okay. And he found out that animals all around the world are behaving differently. So the character is called Jackson.
Jackson.
He's a scientist.
Jackson.
Yeah. So recently there were some incidents where animals in zoo, like lions, they started attacking their zookeepers. And not just attacking, but killing aggressively. And
Okay.
and he found some evidences all over the world that animals have started attacking other people. Not only lions, also other domestic animals like dogs as well.
Okay.
So what he does is he gets a call from Africa. He goes there to investigate what happened. And suddenly he sees that he records a video where he sees lions attacking a man. So he goes to scientists and gives this evidence to them, saying that there is increase in human-animal conflict.
Yeah.
There is a rise in human-animal conflict, and he is saying that because of pollution, the human-animal conflict has grown a lot. So what he suggests to the president is stop using all anything that causes pollution, like automobiles, like mobile phones, or even electricity. So he suggests this idea to the president, but they only do it temporarily. We can't do this for a long time, right?
Yes, ma'am.
We need electricity. Unfortunately, we don't have other ways of surviving yet.
Yes.
So people go back to using them, and the animals still keep attacking humans. So the book ends in such a manner that there's no solution for it yet. So that is how the story ends. But he investigates what's the reason behind it. He says that it is because of pollution. So this he finds out by observing a group of dogs that behave like insects. He sees this and he says, you know, animals are not supposed to behave like insects. Insects have their own behavioral which is much different from animals. So he finds he comes to the conclusion, or he put forth a theory that because of pollution, this is happening. And so this is what the story is about. And he says, you know, eventually humans and animals will always be at odds, will have a conflict. So that is how the story ends. All right. So now what we are going to do is we're going to answer some questions. There are 5 questions here. This is based on the book or the story that I told you now. I have given you information about what is asked in each of these sentences. So try guessing the answer by looking at the options. I will also help you, Jyoti.
Okay, ma'am.
All right. Would you like to read the first sentence?
In the next 5 years, the number of animal attacks animals changed, ma'am.
They're talking about animal attacks.
Attacking somewhere.
Yeah, animal attacks changed. Is it kept growing? What do you think? Which of these 2 options is right? Because you need
Change.
Yeah.
In the first next 5 years, the number of animals attacked.
Okay, I'll add some more information here. So initially, he finds that animals are attacking humans, and he shows this video to scientists. So after 5 years, they keep attacking. So what do we say?
Keep going.
Yeah, kept growing would be right answer here. So the first one is kept growing. After he made the initial discovery, he noticed that it kept growing rapidly. All right. What about the second one?
Yes, ma'am. It was evidence that something animals behavior, something animals changes.
Yeah, you need to have a verb there. It is changed. Very good. Good guess. What about the next one?
Suddenly, over the dog, it was going there, so interested in is somewhere. No?
Very good. It was going somewhere is good. Okay, good. How about the fourth?
The room was full of dogs. They were behaving strangers now.
Strangely.
Strangely.
Okay, very good. Strangely is the right answer. And the last one?
They were behaving more like insects than dogs.
Absolutely. Yeah. So only when he saw this, he realized that, for example, when he went to a country in South America, he noticed that there were a certain group of ants that kept going in circles before they died. And this was a very strange behavior when it came to insects, but he had never seen or heard or read about it happening in animals. And when he saw this happening with dogs, he understood that it was because of some changes in their hormones, pheromones. So that is how he realized that pollution may be the cause for it.
Okay. Some movies there, man. Same insects in Akshay Kumar movies there. In the mobile phone is virus. Then some boats are troubling.
You are talking about the movie Robo.
Yes, ma'am. Robo.
I think it's Robo. Yeah. Robo 2, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it is kind of similar to this. What you said is right. And based on this book Zoo, they also made a TV series. Do you have time? Do you get to watch any TV series?
No, ma'am.
Oh, okay. If you have Netflix, you can also see this TV series on Netflix. It's there.
Okay.
All right. Okay. All right. So now, okay. I think you may not be able to answer these questions, but I want to give you some answers for these in simple lines. So it will give you more context to the story of the book. So the first one, what do people think about Oz's ideas at the beginning of the story? Initially, when Oz said that, when Oz told other scientists that animal behavior is changing, nobody listened to him. And when he said that it was because of pollution, again, people thought he was crazy. But when people started experiencing in their own life, and when they saw some evidence of videos and also other scientists telling them this is the reason, then they slowly began to realize that what Oz said is right. So eventually, what people thought about Oz idea changed from the beginning of the story by the time we reached the end of the story. And it was because of over a period of time or a number of years, they came to experience this on their own. They noticed attacks happening in their own cities. And when it happened to them, they were more serious about it. So that is what happened in the first part. And Oz also raised a monkey at home. And that monkey was called Attila.
Okay.
So that monkey unfortunately killed his girlfriend at the time. So she was looking after the monkey when he was traveling in another country. So that monkey changed its behavior and it also killed her. And that is when he also, realized that it is not only wild animals that are behaving weird, but also domestic animals. All right. And finally, he has a kid called Eli with Chloe, his wife. But at the end of the story, they did not mention what happened to Chloe. Oz and Eli moved to the very cold parts of the world, like they go near the Arctic region. So they say that the animals there aren't many animals in cold regions, right? So they can survive there. Animals cannot survive easily in very cold places. So that's how the story ends. So try reading the story when you get time today. You can read them quickly. It's a bit interesting. And we'll talk about some general questions now. Okay. Jyoti, would you like to answer the first question?
How would you react an elephant in your backyard and leopard in your town? What Yes, ma'am. Elephants in forest areas, elephants will not live in the areas. That time elephants come into the city places, and we can create a nuisance to people and areas and their road points, and some problems are creating himself because he is not living in the forest areas. Because the forest, sometimes in forest areas, in fire is there. Some people are firing the forest.
Yeah.
That time in all the animals and surrounding the areas, this place is is a careful places. He came to the road point and is doing the safety places. He also going to animals.
All right. Okay. Have you heard that people, for example, people who live near the mountains or near a forest, so if they find that wild animals are coming into their farm, their houses, or near the neighborhood that they live in, a lot of them try to scare away these animals, right?
Yes, ma'am.
How do they do that? Of any incidents happening in India?
Yes, ma'am. Lot of times is happening, ma'am. In the sometimes in the people are doing the wrong way.
Yeah.
The animals have suffered lot of suffering a lot of, and then after uh, doing the our safety work, we can cruelty is doing the cruelty to animals
Yeah.
and handling the humans and
Yeah.
they're not showing the human care, ma'am.
Unfortunately, they try to kill these animals. Do you think what is the right solution? What measures do you think government can take in our city or state to prevent human wildlife conflict?
Actions are taken by local government, city, state, province, human wildlife conflict. Yes, ma'am. Government we can do the uh, animal safety, ma'am, because animals are not there in a human life is not there, ma'am. Because we are suffer lot of problems. Then we can save the animals, ma'am. We don't touch the forest areas and don't
Mhm. Okay.
and some.
how do you think we can do that? You are saying that we have to protect their habitat, but how do we do that? What measures do you think the government takes? For example, think of your city or your state. What measures have the government or has the government taken in your state to prevent any human wildlife conflict?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. What do you think?
I think in
Okay, maybe in the people truly effective in the prevention of human wildlife and conflict involved in the field.
sorry, Jyoti,
Hello, ma'am.
I didn't understand, Jyoti. Could you please repeat that?
Benefits, the local human communities and the activities involved their communities and finding solutions that lead mutually beneficial extensions.
Okay, all right. And do you think what would you like to answer the third question too?
Do you think climate change the body says? Yes, ma'am. It's climate change. Do you think climate change is a major threat to body diversity?
Do you think climate change
So
is
some animals can't tolerate the temperature,
mm,
high temperature,
mm,
and some animals pollution is the pollution is change, and some animals in the virus, ma'am. That one is the pollution areas and um, mobile. What is the mobile antenna is there? What that, ma'am? I can't.
radiation?
Radiation, ma'am.
Mm,
From radiation, the animals are suffer.
mhm. Birds especially, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Here, do you think climate change is a major threat for biodiversity? For example, you can say, yes, I think climate change is a major threat for biodiversity. You can say it is because we can see that animals are running out of water or other resources that they might find in forests. And because of inadequate rainfall or drought, they often move to um, human dwellings and find food for themselves, right? So it
Yes,
is a
ma'am.
major threat for biodiversity. And because of that, animals may reproduce less. So they may have fewer animals. So they slowly become extinct. And they start moving from one place to another. All all these problems causes changes in the patterns of other animals also, right?
Yes, ma'am.
For example,
Our plant.
bigger animals move to places where there are smaller animals, even they get threatened. All right, so you
Yes,
can
ma'am. So even if the climate change affecting the habitats of several species, and then most other areas with most the changes in average temperatures can have a significant effect upon the global warming.
yeah, you're right. All right, okay. Thanks, Jyoti. Thank you for joining today's session and talking about human wildlife conflict, because the theme of the book was about that. So that was the theme of the book. And what I would like to suggest, Jyoti, is that when you come to the next class, would be on Saturday at 4. You will know what book we are discussing. So make sure you read that book and join the class, because it will help you
Okay.
answer better related to the
Okay.
questions. All right. And I would also like to say that you said you've already bought the plan, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So every week we will have a class. Every Saturday at 4 o'clock we have a class. So you can join these live classes, and each week we'll discuss one book.
Okay.
You can also let your friends know, tell them that there's this reading program, so they can also read and come and discuss with you during the classes. So you can talk to other readers as well. You can even tell your family, like your brothers, sisters. If you're married, you can tell your spouse, your cousins, friends, colleagues. All right. Did you go through the different books in Penguin? Did you go through what is there?
No, ma'am. Today only I saw the message and I joined the Penguin group.
Okay. All right. Try to look at different books that are there in Penguin. Usually we have some of the popular classic literature. So the books that have been read hundreds of years by many people. So they are also there. So we'll be discussing a mix of all books, modern as well as classic literature.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, Jyoti, it was nice talking to you. I'll see you next week. Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am. Today I'm not reading any lessons. That's why I can trouble to you also.
That's okay. That's all right. As long as you try practicing to read and keep speaking in English, it will help you